Here we go. And yay. Awesome. So welcome to our free webinar on cultivating intimacy with Tantra, specifically the modality we teach, which is authentic Tantra. And I am Davy Ward Erickson. I am the founder of the Institute of Authentic Tantra Education, along with two co-founders. I say I'm the founder because it was my idea. And then I'm also the creator of the modality that we refer to as authentic Tantra. And a little later in our broadcast, we're going to talk about why we call it authentic Tantra and what makes it authentic. And this is my beautiful husband, the Erickson.
Yes. My name is Chris Erickson. I am obviously Davy's husband. I'm actually a PhD in political science with a master's degree in philosophy. And so studying this stuff it works beautifully for me because it's so philosophically complex when you start getting into some of the further stuff. And I love it. And one of the things that I focus on is community building. And so one of the questions that I'm currently asking is, what do communities look like when we are more closely connected to each other on a human basis? And we've kind of gotten away from that in the last little while. So that's some of the stuff that I've been looking at lately.
Wonderful. Thank you. All right. And my lovely co-hosts.
You want to start? Okay. My name is Brian Craig, originally from
Karen Craig.
Originally from Brooklyn, New York. Live in Atlanta, Georgia now, to be a wife. Born in Chicago, raised in Maryland, and we met here about 7 years ago, and we've been just
married almost 5 years.
Married almost 5 years, and we are recent graduates of the Institute of Authentic Tantra. And we've been teaching ever since. We've been in the trenches, and are just really helping people to heal and transform using authentic Tantra. So we're excited to be here to share some good stuff with you guys. Yeah, Brooklyn in the house, Chris. That's what's up. Brooklyn. See, and he gets it. Whenever you type Brooklyn, it has to be all caps. You got to scream it. Brooklyn, So good job, Chris. All right. Whatever you want to share about yourself?
I'm, again, Karen Craig, Brian's lovely wife. We're so excited to be doing this work, so excited that Davy has created this modality. This fits so well into everything I've been studying for over 20 years now. Don't want to date myself, but at both personally and professionally. My professional background is actually in the law, but spent my entire life on metaphysical kinds of things and various holistic modalities. So we're very excited to have the opportunity to teach this now.
Yes.
Beautiful. Beautiful. All right. So we are here today to talk about cultivating sacred intimacy. So I want to ask you all who are listening, what does that mean to you? What do the words sacred intimacy mean to you? If you have that in your life, what would that look like? So please feel free to type that in. What is sacred intimacy to you?
Yeah, this is interactive.
How does that show up for you in your life? Any thoughts on that?
Give him a second to type. See. Anybody chime on in? Okay.
Creating a container, deep level of sensual trust, being connected to myself and to others and to the beautiful, beautiful. Yes, very true. Anyone else? Anyone else want to share? What does sacred intimacy mean to you? Being connected to myself and to others and to everything, deep level of sensual trust, creating a container. Yeah. Sacred intimacy to me is embodying the divine. Absolutely. Spiritual connection to people and things around me. You guys are totally on it. That's what I was going to say. You stole my line.
Webinar over, y'all. Said everything. We don't have to teach anything.
So I think that
feminine and masculine, love it.
Connecting to the divine feminine and masculine. Yeah, and I think that it's very subjective. Can I ask the other attendees to make their comments visible? All panelists.
They can't. Oh, it says to all. Oh, to all panelists. Let me see.
And attendees.
Okay.
Oh yeah, so some of them just came to us as all panelists.
Okay.
Sorry about that, guys.
Okay.
Yeah, awesome. Okay, so make sure you're talking to everybody.
Yeah.
If you're able to adjust your controls for that.
Yeah.
So I think that sacred intimacy it's a very subjective thing, right? What I consider to be sacred and the way I describe and define that is going to be different than, what Karen and Brian perhaps say. And ideally there's going to be overlap, of course, but it's a very, very, I think it's a very precious and a very intimate thing in and of itself. So for me, sacred intimacy means being able to connect with openness, with clarity, with presence, with authenticity, free of judgment, free of shame, free of fear, or at least the ability to be present and allow the fear, but still be able to connect through that. Yeah. So sacred intimacy is for me, is all around being able to connect openly, honestly, and authentically with loving kindness and compassion. And where that sacred intimacy begins is in our own hearts. It's how we connect with ourselves. And how we connect with ourselves is a blueprint for how we connect with everyone and everything else in our life. And if we aren't able to hold that open, non-judgmental, compassionate space within ourselves, we're not going to be able to hold that space with another person, with another human being. So I just want to say that, number one, sacred intimacy begins in our own hearts, and it begins with the relationship that we have with ourselves. Mm-hmm. What do you think it is?
Well, obviously I agree with what you're saying. For me, sacred intimacy involves, how to best put this, the ability to be truly naked with a partner. And by that, I don't just mean physically without clothes, but I mean emotionally, spiritually, allowing, if there's fear or whatever else that or hurt or trauma, it's nakedly there, and you get to sit with it, you get to see it, you get to work with it, and you are still connecting, as you said, through that. And as opposed to what commonly happens is that those fears come up and people go, and that's it, and they run. Where it's the willingness to sit, and as you say, to vulnerability. Absolutely. Yes. Sequita, thank you.
Beautiful.
Vulnerability is absolutely key. Vulnerability and transparency. This is kind of what I mean by nakedness. On all levels.
Yeah, beautiful, yeah. Beautiful. Thank you. How about you guys? What does sacred intimacy mean to you?
Go ahead, ladies first.
For me, it's being having a deeply rooted connection with myself that's rooted in spirit, and then being able to have that deep connection with my partner that's also rooted in spirit. So as you both of you have said, it begins here, it begins in the heart, and that's what we say, Tantra begins and ends in the heart, and our practices begin and end in our hearts. Yeah. And also in terms of sexuality, then that moves us into sexuality and the sacred sexuality, which is an expression of that sacred connection that I have with myself, and then that sacred connection I have with Brian. So then when that sexual energy starts to move, it's connected to the heart space. And then, that's when the magic happens.
Beautiful. Yeah. Thank you, Karen. That's delicious.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And I guess it's kind of what I said in the last webinar, which intimacy really does mean intimacy. But the problem is that, most of us have walls up because we're not even comfortable looking at ourselves in the mirror. One of our last classes, we had our female students to actually, one exercise was actually to look in the mirror and to accept that. And literally it took weeks, and so people were like, I still can't do that. Yeah. So we're like, wow, we can't even accept ourselves. So how do we open up for other people to look and accept us? So it starts, as everyone said, and most people said in the chat, starts here with us. It starts in our heart. So that's where ultimate intimacy starts, and then you can open up and be transparent, as we talked about, so people can see. But we're still like this. So what we're trying to do is get you like this, just open to receive and be present and just accept who you are, what you are, who you came to this earth to be, and just, live your life in an orgasmic state where everything is blissful and beautiful. And then once you get there, imagine inviting someone into that space. Your garden is all pruned and ready to go, and you invite someone in and say, look, my garden's ready. It's like, oh my gosh, so that's the experience we want to bring to people.
Beautiful. Yes. And
Yeah.
and when we're able to access that sacredness, we then apply it to everything that we do, whether it's, intimate relationships,
Yeah.
whether it's sexuality, whether it's the work that we do. It's like I think of it as this well that we're drawing upon, that we're cultivating and filling with our practice. And it becomes like overflowing, and then it begins to pour into and infuse every aspect of our life.
Yes.
And so that for me is what sacred intimacy is about. It's weaving that sacredness into every aspect of our life.
Yes, absolutely.
So beautiful.
And Davey, I just wanted to say, so what we're creating is really a tantric lifestyle and a tantric life.
Yes.
Exactly. Yeah. Tantra is not a workshop. Tantra is a lifestyle. It is a spiritual path, and if you train with us, because some of the methods that we teach are rooted in Tibetan Tantric Buddhism, you are inviting the dharmic teachings of the Buddha into your life. Not that you have to become Buddhist at all, but these teachings have power, and they have lineage, and they help us align with our true destiny and our true purpose in life. And the repercussions of that will be felt, from this lifetime onwards. So beautiful. So now that we're talking about what sacred intimacy is, and we have some definitions and idea of that, how many of you feel as though you're able to cultivate that in your lives as much as you would like to? On a scale from 1 to 10, how often are you able to access sacred intimacy in your own life, whether that's with yourself or your partner, or your friends, your family? Scale from 1 to 10. Yay, a new lifestyle, about a 4. Beautiful. Thank you, Rob. Thank you for sharing. Thank you, all of you, for sharing. Jacqueline, awesome. Yay. Kudos.
And no judgment here, so please.
Yeah, there's no judgment. Yeah, 5 out of 10. Sequita, beautiful. 6. Yay. What that is in recognizing.
Yeah.
Thank you.
It's a good place to start.
Thank you. Yay. Hi, Stephanie and Rob. Beautiful. Beautiful. Anyone else? Scale from 1 to 10. How often or how much sacred intimacy do you feel you're able to cultivate right now in your own life? One's still learning and seeking. Exactly. That's beautiful. So thank you for coming.
Thank you for being here. Yeah, exactly.
Thank you for coming. Yeah. So as we said, it's, the title of this webinar is Cultivating Sacred Intimacy, right? So it is something that we need to pay attention to. It's something that we need to literally cultivate on a daily basis. That presence, that connection, that openness, that love, that compassion. It's like a garden in our hearts that we're growing and cultivating on a daily basis. And let's see, Tiffany saying, varies, flow 4 to 6, depending on my state of mind. Absolutely. There's some times in our life where we may feel more or less connected to that, depending on what's going on internally and externally.
Right.
Absolutely. And so for those of us who are not experiencing it as often as we would like to, what do you think is standing in your way of experiencing and cultivating sacred intimacy, like 8 on a scale from 1 to 10, or 9, or even a 10? What is preventing you from living your life every moment with this feeling of being connected to that sacredness? What do you think may be getting in your way? Prioritizing the work to get there. Thank you, Jacqueline.
That's a good one.
Absolutely. Myself is all it can be. Yeah. Beautiful. Thank you guys for sharing so much. Love the sharing.
Absolutely.
Anyone else? Myself being open and transparent, recognizing my blocks and triggers and getting my needs met. Beautiful. Judgment of how it should look. Yep. Feel anxiety. Yeah. Being able to share that space with people in my life. Yeah. Yeah. Beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing that. Being able to share. Yeah. Demons in my way.
Get in the way. Yep.
Amen.
That happens.
Confidence for me and my partner, trauma from childhood.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Yes. Yes. All very true.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Got more and more coming in. These are really beautiful.
Yeah. Keep sharing.
Yeah. These are really beautiful. Yeah. So recognizing that we do have some blocks to bliss, as we like to call them, right? But something I love about Tantric Buddhism is the foundation of it is the truth that we already are all Buddhas or enlightened. Enlightenment, as my Lama says, it just means mature human. It doesn't mean anything exalted. It's not like, it's not a God. It just means a mature human. So what are qualities that we associate with a mature human? loving kindness and compassion, openness, presence, transparency, a realization, a desire for the, the greater good, right? And in the teachings that we do, we talk about the 5 root poisons: anger, attachment, pride, jealousy, and ignorance, right? And how a mature human being has purified these 5 root poisons, right? So we all already are this infinite, radiant, present being. That's what it is to be fully human. That's what it is to be a true human. And yet, because of the world that we live in, we get these obstructions. We get these blocks to bliss. The world we live in and the karmas that we've acquired throughout our lives. And so the yoga of Tantra is applying methods to free ourselves from that, to dissolve those, to heal and to release those, so that our true nature can shine through. Our true nature is always there. It doesn't go away. It's the sun, and sometimes there's some clouds covering the sun, but that does not mean the sun has gone away. It just means that we can't feel and see and experience its radiance. But if we're able to remove those clouds, then the full radiance of the sun shines through. And so that is the yoga of Tantra, right? So we're aware that we have these blocks, but the problem is we don't know what to do about them often, because nobody teaches us, right? Nobody teaches us how to connect. Nobody teaches us how to communicate. Nobody teaches us how to explore that sacredness inside of ourselves, right? Imagine if when we were children, we were taught that we had this precious sacred jewel of love inside our own hearts, and we were taught how to cultivate that on a daily basis, whether it was through meditation or movement or playing or communicating. However, imagine if as children we were taught to value and honor and to cultivate that sacred intimacy within ourselves. Imagine what life would look like. But you're right, exactly, Sabrina. Instead, we're taught shame. Yeah. We're taught shame for who we are as humans, and we're taught to feel shame about our sexuality, which is the core essence of our humanity, right? It is an integral, essential part of what it is to be human, like eating, sleeping, drinking, farting, pooping, sexing. That's part of what it is to be human. Right?
And we're taught shame around all of those things.
Exactly. Exactly. And shame is a block. Shame prevents us from connecting with the love that is present within us.
Yeah. Right? And to me, we always, when we first got together, we kept trying to figure out what is love? What is love? And one of the highest forms that I came up with was acceptance. And we're not taught to accept ourselves, first of all. So how can we accept someone else and who they are? Let's say you have to bring them into your life and experience it, but this is their path. And we're not taught to accept who we are, who we came to this world to be. And instead we're taught shame, as people say, so that's why we're here.
That's why we have jobs. And that's why we do this. So this is why we're sharing this with you, because I've been practicing Vajrayana Tantra, Tibetan Buddhist Tantra, non-sexual and sexual, since 2008, for just over a decade. And before that, I was a monk of the Ashaya order. And so at the age of 23, I committed my life to my spiritual path, right? Because I wanted to find a way to live in this world free of that shame, free of that trauma, free of that guilt. And so why we're here today is to talk about this, to have a conversation, but to also share with you that there are methods, powerful, effective, practical methods to help us release those obscurations, release those blocks to bliss, and restore our true capacity for joy, for openness, for clarity, for presence in every area of our lives. And we all feel deeply passionate about this. And everybody's got methods. Everyone has, their own bag of tricks that they play with, and some are more effective than others. We feel very passionately about the methods of authentic Tantra because they are so practical, they're so effective, and because they work. And they work on the level of body, mind, spirit, and sex. They are holistic healing modality that's designed to address those obscurations, designed to awaken our true potential on absolutely every level of our experience as human beings. Very often in the Western culture, it's like we're very separate. There's like the physical and there's the spiritual, right? And they're separate. And not to mention there's a sexual and the spiritual, right? They're divorced. And in fact, people get really, really pissed off if you start talking about spiritual sex. Like, let me tell you, woo, boy, they get
how many times have you been damned to hell because of that?
I And yet, one of the core teachings of Vajrayana Tantra, Tantric Buddhism, is that every orgasm is a glimpse of enlightenment. The human energy body, the human energy system, which again, in Tibetan Buddhism is superior or senior to the physical body. The entire energy body is wired so that orgasm is literally the quickest, fastest way to experience enlightened consciousness. And it happens because at the moment of orgasm, the moving pranas, prana means wind, the moving pranas in the genitals brush what's called your central channel. And your central channel is where enlightened consciousness resides in the body. It's the core of the life force. And in the central channel, there's nothing but bliss. There's nothing but God consciousness. It's open, crystal, pure awareness. And at the moment of orgasm you have, every orgasm any human being has, those moving pranas in the genitals brush the central channel, and we get a sweet, brief glimpse of enlightenment. That is your true nature. So orgasm is a spiritual experience. It's designed to be that way. That's the human blueprint. So what if instead of a glimpse of orgasm, we were able to hit that peak of pleasure and rest there and hang out there, so that the orgasm became 20 seconds, 30 seconds, 1 minute, 2 minutes, sometimes 20 minutes. What if you were able to access this bliss as often as you wanted, as many times as you wanted, for as long as you wanted? That is the yoga of sexual tantra. They are teachings designed to help us access this bliss and learn how to rest and relax and focus and be present in that, so that it permeates every area of our life, that we're able to carry that out of the bedroom and into absolutely every area of our life. That is the purpose of sexual tantra.
Yeah, it's like for a lot of people that their orgasms are like flashbulbs in a dark room. And then they get a kind of tiny little glimpse. And with these techniques, you can learn to kind of slowly turn the lights on and keep them on, which is really cool. Yeah, it's Christopher, it is amazing.
So I would love, because I've been talking a lot, Brian and Karen, would you be willing to share what the authentic Tantra modality is and why we call it authentic? Because you guys are so damn good at that.
So, as you pointed out, as the creator of the modality, it is authentic. It's lineage based, which is also important, and I'll defer to you on that to allow you to talk about that. But we use 4 pillars. So those 4 pillars are meditation, movement, connection, and pleasure. And we use all of these to bring everything that everyone's talked about: deeper connection with yourself, healing, removing shame, releasing all of those blocks, and then using all of these modalities to achieve that. So the meditations achieve all of those things. They bring us to a place of deeper interconnection, connection with our partner, dissolving of the blocks that we've talked about. And the beauty of it is, what I tell people is, unlike talk therapy, which is, I don't diminish that, I believe in all forms of therapy, but because this is somatic, because this works in our bodies, when we do the practices take care of the issues. So it's not like this hard work. So I think of it like if you burn something on a skillet and you can take, a pad and scrub, or you can just put some water in it, set it aside, and you come back and you can just wipe it off. And so for me, that's how the meditations are. They do the work. You do the meditations do the work. And there's no religious component to it. Even though the lineage is Buddhism, it can be utilized by anyone from however your connection is, however you view creator. If you don't even believe there's a creative source, all of this still works for you. And then the movements, because you're in your body, then the tantra, the yoga, works in your body, and it's not like with traditional yoga where you're doing all these asanas or asanas, and you're doing headstands and like really challenging your body. it's really they're fun and gentle kinds of movements that move the energy, and so release the blocks in your body. And then there's connection. I don't want to keep going on because you know me, I'll talk forever. when we teach, Brian is my timekeeper.
Wrap it up. No, but finish what you were saying.
But go on. Tell us about connection.
Okay. So then with the connection work, I mean, that's where, to me, you know, like, you really start to connect with yourself and know yourself. Because if you don't know yourself, you don't trust yourself, you don't accept yourself, all of those things, then you really can't enter that space with someone else. You can on a superficial level, but not on the deep level that we're talking about when we talk about sacred intimacy. You know, that deep connection with self and that deep connection with someone else. And then my favorite aspect is the pleasure aspect of it. So when we talk about root poisons, for example, when we're doing some of the meditations, we don't have to start with, okay, so I've got issues with attachment, or I've got issues with jealousy, or I've got issues with anger. You can really start at the other end of it. You know what I really want is, I just want more bliss in my life. I want to be able to move through life with an open heart. And so then there are meditations that help you to achieve that. And then at the same time, it's dissolving all that other stuff. So to me, that's pleasurable, just focusing on bliss and doing a meditation that brings more bliss into my life. And I don't have to focus on the poisons. The poisons can just dissolve because I'm seeking bliss. And I'm doing something to bring myself to that space.
Yeah, it's like that saying that, you know, energy flows where attention goes.
Exactly.
And as Peter says, a blockage anywhere is a blockage everywhere. So we can't expect to have an area of our life just prospering and flowing if we have a blockage here. But what happens, we don't even know sometimes where these blockages come from. The big traumas, we know it, but I can't always talk about the micro traumas. And what they do is they literally form a barrier between us, our relative selves, and our beautiful infinite selves, as Cameron explained, as David explained earlier. So what happens is there are literally blocks there that you cannot figure out what's going on. And so what happens is someone triggers you. And then you react in a certain way, and then you get identified by your reaction to that trigger. And so we live a life where we just go from trigger to trigger to trigger. Someone says something, we're triggered. Someone looks at us the wrong way, we're triggered. Somebody pushes, we're triggered. Someone says something about sexuality, we're triggered. You know, so it's like, so what we do is focus on the good stuff, the meditation, the movement, connection, and pleasure. Focus on the good stuff, and guess what? Those blockages just start to dissolve. And you're like, wait a minute, I feel something. You start to connect back to that infinite self, and we live a life that is orgasmic and blissful every day. We can access that all day, every day. It's not that glimpse, as Chris said, that pop on, the light just pops on, like, oh, I felt good. It's like, okay, where to go? And then you live from orgasm to orgasm. What if you can dwell in the orgasm you talked about earlier? And we're not just talking about the orgasm when it comes to sex, that literally an orgasmic life where literally every fiber of your being is just radiating every single day because the blockages are moved, and you get things look different. The trees look different. The air smells different because of the blockages being removed. It's like someone taking those glasses off, the sunglasses. You're like, oh my gosh, it's light. I can see. That's what this practice does. We use the 4 pillars to help you just dissolve those blockages, and you don't have to focus on it. We don't focus on your triggers. We focus on the good shit.
Yes. Focus on the medicine.
Exactly.
Not the triggers. Absolutely not. And I just want to make a comment here. Like, when I used to hear people say, oh, living in bliss, I used to think it was this like, oh, transcendent experience. The actual experience living in bliss is an experience of equanimity, stability, peace, and inner joy. Like joy for no reason.
Yeah.
Right. And what was that, Karen?
Contentment.
Contentment, absolutely. That is bliss. And that ability to like be aware of that negative self-talk, which is caused by trauma, those internal judgments about self and other, and there's a spaciousness inside. So whereas before I used to be trapped and imprisoned by that negative self-talk, now there's this open spaciousness, and I can see these thoughts and judgments arise, and I can choose to let them go. I'm no longer imprisoned. I'm no longer attached. I have this inner freedom. I have choice about what thoughts and what energy I want to choose to cultivate in my life and what I'm ready to let go of. And it's this beautiful process of unfolding and peeling away at the same time. It's literally, it's like a lotus, right? Petal by petal, the flower of our consciousness opens, and all those, again, those blocks just peel and dissolve away, and you shed and become reborn.
Yeah.
So this is the result of effective tantric practice. If your practice is not creating this in your life, it's ineffective, according to our Lama.
Yeah.
Your practice should be making your life better in discernible, tangible ways in the physical world. If it's not making your physical experience better, if you're not able to connect with other human beings with more empathy, more compassion, more love, more kindness, if you're not making a positive impact on the people around you and your society at large as a result of your spiritual practice, it's perhaps not effective. Yeah. That's the orientation. So with these methods that we teach under the umbrella of authentic Tantra, we have lineage permission from our Lama to share these. And they are rooted in these Tibetan Tantric Buddhist practices, particularly the Tibetan 5 elements, and we won't get into that today because we don't have time, but also other Vajrayana Tantric practices about how to live in harmony and balance with our environment and each other, right? So that is the foundation, and that is the well from which we draw and pour into all of the other methods that we teach you. And that's why we call it authentic Tantra. That's one of the reasons that we call it authentic Tantra. Okay, so that's what we're here to share with you on a planetary basis, planetary level.
And I just want to address Desiree. Say thank you for sharing and being vulnerable. You know, and sharing what's going on with you. Appreciate.
Please do.
You know, we appreciate you. You know, and that's why we're here. We know people. We know there are people that need this. We needed it. This is not book knowledge. Okay, this is. I mean, we learned it. But the thing is like not only have to live it, we're living it every single day. That's like, so when you talk about things like, you know, suicidal thoughts or, you know, being shunned and being rejected. I mean, I have a story, but my gosh, Davey has, you know, this is, you know, the founder of this, like literally has gone through almost everything I could think of. When she shares a story, like it's always another, like, what? You went through that as well? You know, and get to this place where she's, you know, just a beautiful being of light in this, you know, in this universe, in this time. It's just amazing. So trust when I tell you, like literally this can help heal your traumas and what you're,
without a doubt.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
it absolutely does. So is there anything else you guys want to share about that? Because I want to move into doing a practice. Is that okay?
Let's do the practice.
Let's do a practice.
Okay. Awesome. Being mindful of your time, everyone. So we're going to do a practice together, all of us together. If you are in partnership with somebody, have your partner. If you're not in partnership with somebody, you don't need to be. You can be in partnership with yourself. So we're going to start this as a solo practice, and then Christopher and I are going to demonstrate how we've woven this into a partner tantra practice. And that's very, very simple. It's just a taste. So I mentioned that this was lineage based. So there's a lot of prana yoga methods in Tibetan Tantric Buddhism. Prana yoga means breath yoga, means working with your breath. And in our tradition of Tantra, the word Tantra is literally defined as to weave light and sound with form. So form is the body, light is visualization, and sound is mantra. So we're going to incorporate some light, some weaving with this prana yoga practice. And this is called rainbow light breathing. And this is a very common, very simple method to just fill your body with light. As Brian said, energy flows where attention goes. So if we are imagining our air coming in through our nose, filling our entire body with rainbow colored light, guess what's actually happening? Your entire body is being filled with rainbow colored light. Well, why do we want our bodies filled with rainbow colored light? Well, the rainbow colors represent all of the 5 elements that help purify and heal those 5 root poisons: anger, attachment, pride, jealousy, and ignorance, right? So as we're inhaling this rainbow colored light and filling every cell in our body with this rainbow colored light, it's purifying the poison and the pain of those negative emotions. And again, they just start to peel and fall away, okay? So what I'm going to invite everyone to do is sit up comfortably with your back straight. Now, usually we teach these meditations with the eyes open. In Tantric Buddhism, we meditate with the eyes open in what's called a soft gaze. And that's because we're bringing in light through the eyes to nourish the light body. Remember, weaving light and sound with form. Well, there's not much light coming in if the eyes are closed. And I understand that, you know, if you haven't been trained in this, it may be uncomfortable for you. So if you need to close your eyes through this practice, please do. But otherwise, try to keep them open in like a soft gaze. And the soft gaze is if you put your hand in front of you, stare at your hand, pull it away, just kind of stare into the empty space. That's essentially your soft gaze. Okay, so get a sip of water here. We're going to sit with the back straight, hands in a comfortable position in your lap. Have your chin tilted slightly. This is to align all your chakras along that beautiful central channel we spoke about. Tongue is on the roof of your mouth to connect your front and your back channel to make a microcosmic orbit. And eyes are in a soft gaze or closed, depending. And we're just going to focus on our breath. Some of the lamas say, from beginningless time, you've been following your thoughts. Now we're going to take a break and we're going to follow our breath. So we're inhaling and exhaling through the nose and just observing that process. And as you inhale, I'm going to invite you to breathe into the belly. Really, really feel your abdomen open and expand as you inhale. And really feeling and allowing it to relax as you exhale. Very often our breathing pattern is short and shallow because we're in a perpetual fight or flight stage. So we're going to slow everything down, relax, get present, allow the nervous system to settle down and feel safe. And once you've settled in, we're going to add some color. We're going to add some visualization to the process. And when you visualize, just do it the best that you can. Everybody has different abilities and capacities. For me, when I first started, I couldn't see colors very well, but I could feel them. I could sense them. I could intend them. So doing your best to see, sense, and feel. As you inhale, you're going to see rainbow-colored light come in through your nose, and it's going to fill every cell of your body. So every cell of your body is lit up with this rainbow-colored light. And then as you exhale, you're going to exhale this transformed, vibrant, enriched, rainbow-colored light out into the universe, out into your environment. And it's an exhalation of benefit for others. You're benefiting others by exhaling out this transformed and vibrant rainbow-colored light. So let's do that for a little bit together. And again, as you exhale, intending that you're breathing out benefit, love, support, enlightenment for all living beings. You're inhaling that truth and exhaling that truth back out into the universe. We'll do a few more. Yeah, and we'll do one more rainbow-colored inhalation and exhalation. And then I'm going to gently invite you to bring your attention back. And I want to check in before we move on and see how that felt for you. If you're willing to offer some feedback to us. How did it feel to visualize that rainbow-colored light? Were you able to see it? Were you able to feel it? And no obligation. I rarely feel anything. when I do these things. Some people, bells and whistles and body shivers and all that. Yeah, you felt warm. Beautiful, beautiful. Anyone else? Were you able to see it? Or for the other, without including us? We are part of it. All beings benefit. We're part of all beings. That's the awesomeness. We benefit ourselves by benefiting others because there's no separation. You didn't realize how much tension you were holding. Yeah, yeah. That's one of the things I notice first is like how I'm not breathing into my belly. That's why I invite you to bring awareness into your belly, because I'm like, oh boy.
Waves.
Waves. Yeah.
Beautiful. Wow.
Beautiful.
Good.
And you saw it, you were able to visualize, Christopher, the rainbow light. Beautiful, beautiful. So that's a very, very simple practice that I encourage you to do like every morning. Like if you don't already have a meditation practice, or you do, weave this in, and it's very simple. And you can just, you can count breaths. If you want to count breaths, we traditionally count 21 breaths. You can just do it for, 5 minutes if you want to. Let's see, Tina's saying, see the struggles, but struggled with my presence. Yeah, and so that's the thing with a lot of people make this mistake with meditation, that you have to focus. That's not the way it works. The meditation, the mind moves. It's like a water, right? So I think of it like a river, right? It's constantly moving. And right now, we're moving with it. Our awareness is moving with it. And we think we are our thoughts. That's usually where we start, right? And what occurs with meditation is there's a space or the separation that occurs, so that we're able to watch the thoughts, the rolling river of the thoughts, without attaching to them. So the process of meditation is simply this. Most of the time we're looking at our thoughts. Then you're going to focus on your breath. Then you're going to think of your thoughts. Then you're going to focus on your breath. Thoughts, breath, thoughts, breath. And this is the process to begin with. And then that process begins to slow down, so that more and more you're able to stay present and the thoughts are flowing. And then occasionally your attention will wander, and then you'll be able to bring it back. So that ability to remain what we call present, aware, and focused begins to grow and permeate your life. And it's less of a struggle. It's less of a back and forth. But that back and forth process is essential to creating that stability. Absolutely. So the more easeful you can be with that, the less judgmental. Your mind is going to wander. I've been meditating for freaking over 20 years now. My mind is going to wander. It does. And that's okay. No judgment. You just gently, lovingly bring your attention back to your breath. Okay? It's loving.
Yeah. And what I've noticed over time is that flow of thoughts, as you learn to sit back and just observe it, it starts to settle down more too. So it's not just like this, it starts to mellow out and slow down and calm down. I'm the type of person where my thoughts go a million miles an hour all day, every day. And with doing these practices, it's the first time I've ever gotten quiet. And that quiet allows me to pack a whole bunch of rest and recuperation into just moments. And it's pretty remarkable. Yeah.
What were you going to say, Brian?
As Chris was saying, essentially, because you're able to get a whole lot of relaxation, essentially, into a small space of time, and especially with your eyes being open, you can do this anywhere. So this is like one of the first practices. It's a tantric practice. So you need this if you're even engaging in tantric union, tantric sex with your partner. Just bring yourself into your own body, into the present. And you can do it sitting at the doctor's office. You can do it sitting like literally anywhere, because your eyes are open, so nobody even knows what you're doing. And you're actually working on your own nervous system.
Yeah.
Like it's not just, sort of woo-woo. It also has a basis in the physiology of your body. Yeah. Bringing that relaxation to your whole nervous system.
Try it when you're stuck in traffic and see how it makes you feel.
Yeah, but I tell people, just make sure you're actually stopped.
Wake up, the road is clear, so sit in the middle of the highway lot.
Or you rammed into the car in front.
Yeah, one or the other. But one thing, as Baby said, when I want you to equate this practice literally as safe healing space, where there is no judgment. And as we said earlier, the worst judgment we have is on ourselves. Like, oh my gosh, I'm out there. And so you spend the rest of the meditation being mad that you couldn't stay present in meditation. You know,
your mind was
your
wandering.
mind was wandering. And there's, like you said, David, that was a beautiful description. Just be, accept what is. If it comes in, then watch it just flow back out. We're here to flow. We're not here to stay, we're not, meditation Nazis, and you got to stay this. And if you don't stay focused for 30 minutes, then you're not really enlightened. No, you're already an enlightened being. What we're here to do is just help you shed the stuff to keep you from recognizing who you really are. So that's all I want to share.
Yeah, I love the concept of enlightenment really is to let the light in.
Yeah.
So I think of it like a dirty window. Like, as you said, Davey, the sunshine is out there. You're just wiping off the window.
Yeah.
So it's just flooding the space with light. Yeah. And so once there's light, you can see. It's like turning on the light in a dark room. Suddenly, like, you see what's in the room and you're experiencing what's in the room. And, it just takes on life.
Beautiful. Yes, exactly. So we're running a little late, so I thank you guys for staying with us. We just have a few more things we want to share with you. I want to demonstrate, Christopher and I, how you can do this as a partner, because we want to give you a taste of sacred intimacy as a partner.
Hey.
All right, so we're going to sit facing each other. And this is simple. You can do this at home. You do try this at home.
Do try this at home, right.
And so we're each going to put our hands over each other's heart center. So your heart center your heart chakra is in the center of your chest, right? Between your nipples, essentially. And then I'm going to take my other hand and cover it. So we're creating this loop, this circuit. Okay. And so we're going to look left eye to left eye. And that's because the left eye is yin and feminine. And so in this case, we want to receive each other. Right? We don't want to penetrate each other right now. We want to receive each other. Penetration comes later.
Hey.
not on this video.
Not on this video. That's another webinar.
So we're going to do a practice called alternate breathing, a prana yoga practice called alternate breathing. And we're going to add the rainbow colored light to it. So alternate breathing is simply, I'm going to exhale through my mouth, and Christopher's going to inhale through his nose. And then he's going to exhale through his mouth, and I'm going to inhale through my nose. So we're exchanging breath. It's creating this loop. But what we're going to add to it is that rainbow colored light. So I am exhaling to him from my heart, love and connection and all the wonderfulness I feel for my beautiful husband. That's coming through my breath to him. And he's inhaling that into his heart. And then he's going to send that back to me, his version of it back to me through his breath. And I'm going to inhale that into my heart. So through our breath, we're sending each other rainbow colored light infused with loving intention. Okay. So I'm going to begin now. I can really feel that. So that's just a quick demonstration. Could you feel that? Could you feel anything through the screen there? That exchange?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. And that's just a few breaths, we haven't even done much. It's like a few seconds, right? Yeah. Beautiful. Beautiful. Right. So first we started with ourselves, and then we shared that connection with each other. And when we share it, it amplifies, it gets bigger.
Yeah.
Right. So imagine if we were able to cultivate this on a regular basis by choice. Our relationships were like this, wonderful boiling pot of love and connection and juiciness. Imagine being able to draw from that well and then go to work every day with your awareness filled with that. Go and contribute to your communities. Take care of your children. Imagine if you were raising your children in a household where this kind of love and connection was being practiced on a daily basis or a weekly basis. Imagine what kind of communities we would have. Imagine what kind of families we would have. This is the purpose of Tantra. This is why it was created. It was created for us as householders to be able to cultivate God consciousness, or whatever conscious word you want to put there, consciousness, loving consciousness, sacred intimacy in our homes on a daily basis, and then weave that into our everyday life, weave that into our community. Imagine the planet we would live on if all of that started, if that was being practiced in our homes, in every home across the planet. Imagine the planet we would live on. It would be a Buddha field. It would be heaven on earth, wouldn't it?
Yes.
Yes.
Really
Yes. It would be heaven on earth. So that is why. That is why we're here, and this is what we do. So we're running late. So what I want to move into now, I want to invite those of you who do need to leave, because you scheduled 45 minutes. If you need to leave, we will have the replay so you can hear the rest of what we're going to share with you. But right now I wanted to move into some ways that you could begin to learn and access and cultivate these tools in your everyday life. Brian and Karen and Christopher and I have a very special event coming up this summer. It's a luxury retreat in Jamaica, where we're going to spend a week with you, working with you in developing and cultivating the methods of authentic Tantra, and giving you a really tangible experience of all of the methods and practices that you can then take home and cultivate in your everyday life on an ongoing basis. And we're going to give you like a blueprint. You're going to learn everything, and then we're going to tell you, okay, this is how you put all the pieces together, and this is like your practice schedule. You're going to get homework. And then we're going to continue offering you ongoing support to support you through this process of integrating these methods in your life. So I'm going to hand the mic over to Brian to share a bit more about this retreat experience if you feel called to begin integrating these methods into your life this summer.
Yeah, as David said, we have many ways that we teach this, and what we prepared for. And this one is a couples only retreat. We'll have more, and we'll have more for single people as well. So, but we do have classes that we can offer you, outside of the retreat. But the retreat, one of the things that Karen and I, we've been doing retreats since 2015, and you're going to hear this a lot, but it's what we believe in, is that we believe in creating a safe space. And we've done that from our first retreat, and we continue to do that in creating a safe space. And what does safe mean? It means safe for you to, as we say, to unfold, to clear the windows, to, help you to move the clouds. And if you come against a blockage, we can help you process that, because you have to process sometimes. And so if you're in your environment, it's not really the best time to process while you still have the kids screaming, homework, dinner, all of that. So we pull you into a safe space, which is, David said, in Jamaica, at a luxury resort in Jamaica. And for 7 days, we actually give you tools. This literally, when I say the tip of the iceberg, I'm not exaggerating. What we taught today is literally a tip of the iceberg of what we're going to teach at this retreat. And so those of you who have to go, we appreciate you. Definitely watch the replay. So what we're going to do is we're going to bring you in. We have 10 select couples, because we want to be able to focus on you, and we're going to work with you. We're going to have our workshops, and then we'll have time for you to take what we've taught you and do your home play. So you take it back to your room and get to practice it. And then once you do that, if you come against blockages, we're here to support you, So because things are going to come up, they are, because we are, like, what is this I'm feeling? So we help you process that. I'm sure.
We're offering coaching, and then there's also, I think we said until next Wednesday, if you sign up, then there's additional coaching that's available. So it's the opportunity really to have Kristen and Davey and Brian and I, and as Brian said, there are only 10 couples. So that's like, we really can give one-on-one attention.
And only 7 spaces left.
And that's true. Yeah. Right. It's not even 10 at this point.
Yeah.
And so where you really get the opportunity, which is pretty rare to have the opportunity to have people of this caliber, basically, like who really know this modality, to guide and coach and teach you one-on-one. and where you, as Brian said, you're in a safe space. There's no judgment. There's no, anything you want to ask, any way in which you want to express yourselves is acceptable. There are no rules in terms of how you can express yourself and what you're expressing and what your needs are and what your background is.
Yeah. We have a few months until we want to, like I said, this is for couples only, but we're literally, for the couples, we're going to give you, we're going to share with you the tools that we've used for ourselves to heal our lives and our relationship. When we first started doing this work, we came up against blockages. And, while we're doing that, Debbie was our coach and our mentor. She helped us process that. And we needed that. I mean, we needed it. We couldn't have done it by ourselves. Mm-hmm. So it's really just a great opportunity to have us there as, our Tantra experts and sexologists, and just be able to help you process and move through these blockages. So that's what you're going to experience August 17th, 23rd. And for those of you that, would like to become certified, go to AuthenticTantra.com and sign up. I think it's still open for
it's a 2-year training, so it's always open.
Yeah, 2-year training to become certified in this modality, and be able to also learn and teach to others. And then if you want classes, we offer classes at ExploreTantra.com. You're able to get classes, we teach online, to kind of give you taste of what we do,
online, in person,
yeah.
Single men, single women, couples.
Yeah, couples. So, but the retreat is we're excited about the retreat, and we want to be able to focus on couples. We are the family. Like, we literally do not put enough focus on this unit, and we wonder why the relationship fails. Well, as I said in another webinar, there is no relationship without the two individuals in it. So we have to make sure we show up, and we, every day we're trying to become, connect to that enlightened spirit that we came to this earth, as. So that's what we're doing every day to help dissolve those blockages, to get there and live in that Buddha state as long as we can. So, yeah.
The idea is forever.
The idea is forever, exactly. So, but yeah, so we'll be there. We're ready. Yeah,
I was gonna, if I may interrupt you. So what I'm gonna do for you guys who are interested, you're gonna get a follow-up email with a link. For those of you who are interested in the retreat this summer, which we highly recommend, it is a rare opportunity, as Karen said, to work with 4 highly trained professionals in this modality, and there's only 7 spots left. So time's running out. It's going quick, and June 1st is the cutoff date for the early registration, which is a phenomenal deal. It's all inclusive, luxury, etc. I'm going to drop the link in here to the website right now, so you can check it out for yourself. It's also going to go in the follow-up tomorrow that you'll get, so that you can take advantage of the special offer. And on the webpage, we have all the amazing bonuses that you're going to get. We really poured our heart and soul into this curriculum for you, and all of the juicy follow-up that you're going to get, because, as we said, Tantra is a lifelong path. But what we're offering for you on this webinar is 2 extra 1-hour coaching sessions after the retreat. So included in the retreat is an opportunity to work with any of us together or alone for a full hour, which is an amazing value, minimum, $300 an hour. That's included in the cost of the retreat. But then after the retreat, if you need support, which we all do, we're including 2 additional hours of coaching with, again, us as a couple or any of us individually, to continue working with us. And those are good for a full year after your retreat. So those 2 additional coaching sessions. So you go to the retreat, it's in August, and then in October, you're like, hey, we need some support. You call us, and then in May, you need some support, right? So they're good for a long time afterwards. So you can continue dipping in and taking advantage of our expertise and our love for you. We are a family. We're a human family, and we're all doing this together. This journey of awakening cannot be done alone. Yeah. We need each other, we need community, and we need support. So that's part of what we're providing for you. So our special offer is, if you reach out to us with questions about the retreat and or register by Wednesday evening, 11:59 Pacific time, then you get these 2 additional hours of coaching. So we want to give you incentive to reach out if you're feeling inspired and take that next step with us. Yes. And so that is all that I had to share with you all today. Again, you're going to be getting a follow-up email tomorrow. Yes, payment plan is available. Awesome. You're going to get a follow-up email tomorrow with all this information, the replay, all of that stuff. Reach out to us through the website, authentictantraretreats.com. Brian and Karen are excellent at taking care of you. The retreats are their expertise. They'll answer any questions, help you get set up with a payment plan, everything that you need. And then if the retreat isn't for you this year, we also in the follow-up email, I have added links so that you can contact Brian and Karen directly to work with them individually. Or of course, if you want to work with me or go through our training program, you'll have all the information that you need to get registered and sign up for that. So yay, awesome, yay. And yes, please take this practice into your home and start doing it now. Like do that solo practice and then do this a partner practice and see what changes. I mean, it's wonderful. I have some students and one of the things, I have many students, but one of my students in particular yesterday, he was sharing with me that he's been working with me for the last 2 months. And he said that over the last couple of weeks, he's had so many people in his life come up to him and say, I don't know what it is that you've been doing, dude, but like you are so calm and peaceful and open and you seem so happy and like you're really different. And he's starting to get like women interested in him now.
Good stuff.
It's pretty awesome. It's pretty awesome. Yay.
We're glad you guys enjoyed it. We really appreciate you all showing up and hanging with us for an hour. Hopefully 45 minutes went over. Thank you so much. And watch the replay. Do the meditations. Like this stuff works. You felt it. It works. Yes. Imagine moving those blocks and then it does lead to better sex. Yes, it does. Yes. It's work on clearing the field to get there. So we appreciate you guys. Thank you, Davey and Chris, for having us on.
Yes. Thank you guys. And yeah, we will be in touch. We look forward to hearing from you all and touching base. And again, reach out with any questions and look for an email in your inbox from us, from Connected Authentic Tantra tomorrow. Love you guys. Mwah.
Bye. Have a good day.
Bye.
Bye.